And in fact, there is the countdown. We're going to get started here in just a moment, and we'll find out if everything is okay. Now, remember, if you've just tuned in, there is, in the very early moments, the first 2 minutes of the game, both players decided they wanted to pause it just to make sure everything was okay. So you mentioned the whole concept of, you know, people have to remember where they're at in the build order and just kind of get it, but I think both these guys were very focused on the game still, not really skipping a beat, and it looks like everything appears to be
Oh
fine.
my God, and look, Sasquatch with the early drone scout. He scouted with this drone before he even built his hatchery because he wanted to make absolutely certain he could see, oh, Demuslim, that is such a genius move. He has now trapped this drone in. If Sasquatch wanted to go for the hatch at the natural expansion, he has to send out another one, but it looks like Sasquatch is actually doing something completely different. He's going for an early third base.
Yeah, he is. Throws down that natural, immediately throwing down the third over at the third. And I wonder if he'll maybe try to put on a little bit of pressure as well if he can. I mean, it's going to be tough having just thrown that down. No pool yet. It's not going to be there for a while. There's the gas from Demuslim, but as you mentioned, drone pretty much knows what's going to go on, so he's just going to be trapped in there until his poor life ends.
Well, he does have that opportunity to heal, so he's going to try to go in there and nibble a little bit. Oh, Demuslim whiffing a little bit.
He'll still get the repair. It's just going to go do its thing. There we see the gas in the pool going down. Pool just starting harvesting, or excuse me, the gas just starting the harvesting. And the pool's about 50% done. But having that third base up does mean that he has a lot of options going forward. Demuslim, in the meantime, is going to be getting double orbital, making his first or second marine rather. And it looks like we did have an extractor grab, a gas grab, but it's not going to matter. Take that out. There the factories going down for Demuslim.
We're noticing a couple of small-scale errors, like the orbital command in his main base is late, as we can see that second command center already has a finished orbital command. Sasquatch is playing quite well. This is very clearly a rehearsed play. He's getting up his Zergling speed very quickly. He actually went hatch, gas pool. That's very nice to get that Zergling speed up quite that early. So he'll be able to control the space of everything. And normally a Terran player gets up those Hellions to control creep spread and to at least keep an eye on the third and make it a little bit more obnoxious to pick up. But there it is already finished. So I mean, Sasquatch is looking sensational.
And third CC goes found for Demuslim. He's already starting his wall, and since that third base did go down, of course, speed is only like halfway done. He's going to be fine to be able to defend this. Of course, it's then what could come after that, but we don't see any sort of a baneling nest. In fact, gas completely taken off now after speed is finished, so there's no more coming out right now.
There we see the double Hellions coming up. Command center en route for Demuslim. He's already killed off the guys are in the main base, but we're seeing Sasquatch having that Overlord keep a pretty regular eye to make sure that that gas goes down at a time that he can see it. So it looks like, ooh, yep, Demuslim has already basically slapped a big sticker on his forehead saying, I am going to be going 3 command center fast double engineering bay upgrades, and we see Demuslim doing some of the first scouting of the game, actually. This is as far as he has scouted with these 2 Hellions. He's mainly looking for all-in plays at this point, and then he's going to stumble across that third hatch, and he is going to go mass macro. I mean, 2 engineering bays right at 7 minutes.
So there we did, while they have the Hellions moving into the third, trying to do a little bit of damage. Lings are coming out, might get a surround on one, and I think at least that one's going to go down. No, Zerglings actually back off. Now, interestingly enough, Demuslim built a tech lab on his racks and then moved his racks and built another tech lab, but he never occupied the other one. There we go, okay.
Yep, now this is kind of a, actually this is not kind of an advanced play, this is a very advanced play. He built that tech lab with the barracks so that way he could sneak out the extra 2 Hellions from the factory and ensure that he has 6 Hellions out, again, for space control. But he also wants to get a siege tank up. Why? Because it's so easy to die early on.
And there are some roaches on the way, 6 in fact coming down. Not sure that these Hellions are actually going to get a chance to see it. And the coverage right now and the vision for Demuslim is limited to these Hellions. He doesn't have the tower. But I think he's going to slip back in here and maybe see it on the ramp leading to the natural in the third. Maybe
a single tank might be enough at this point in time. That helps deal with pretty much most of the baneling threats. So Demuslim should be halting on that production, lifting, and going straight for a starport if he feels comfortable. But wow, he's really not feeling safe going for tank 2.
No, and now we've got some roaches out from Sasquatch. He's taking the Xel'Naga towers as well. And this really limits, of course, what the Hellions can do. He might try to steal in here, maybe get those creep tubers. No, he's going to actually go after drones, and not huge amounts of saturation here at the third. So even what he's targeting, not that much. Almost nothing goes down. I mean, really only a few drones have killed.
9 total.
Yeah.
And it looks like Sasquatch is kind of autopiloting a little bit. He's saying, all right, well, my opponent is, well, I guess it's going to wind up being fine, but he scouted his opponent getting 2 tanks up and then still went default straight up for the attack carapace upgrade. As it turns out, we're seeing Demuslim pull back into the biomine place. This is a very nice read by Sasquatch, but has the potential to have possibly backfire. He's going to be in this great shape this game, though. He's running in. He's going to deny the third. The roaches are already at the front. Look at how late that layer is from Sasquatch. Wow. Really
late. Yeah, 10 minutes in. He's still, not even taking all the gases. He's still got a gas that's not taken in the main yet. And I think with these 2 siege tanks that the Muslim took out with that, with the factory, with the tech lab, are going to be just fine here for the defense. He's also got the bunkers in the back in case a bust does happen. Now he's going to get his medevac production started. He had his 1-1 going well before the armory finished, and he's going to immediately start 2-2. But here we do have some more forces moving out right as 1-1 is going to be finishing up here for the Zerg. I think he's most certainly going to be able to, I mean, he's already stopped the third from happening, but will he actually try to make another bust here to the front? Nope.
Well, looks like roach speed going down, so it's going to be kind of a delayed bust from Sasquatch. He's going to start 2-2, and then he's going to swing in with way more roaches than he thinks Demuslim can deal with. Demuslim is not going to be really moving out until around 14.5 minutes or so. That's when his 2-2 will be done. He might do some harassment with medevacs. That would be very wise in this position. There's no Mutalisk coming up. It's all roaches. But God, look at the roach count from Sasquatch. He's at 33. His supply's at 180. I think that his layer, I don't think it was incorrect for a layer in general to be that late. There are builds where you can pull that off, but if he's going to be doing this roach bust build, he needs to get that speed up. And right now, it's 50 seconds away.
And you know what, that medevac is going to slip by on the west side of the map. We've got some Marines here at the third, but you know what, those Marines are going to be no match for this huge mass of roaches here that's at the Xel'Naga Tower. And you called it. Like, he made the perfect amount of roaches that I think the Muslims going to have a very hard time dealing with. Some medevacs out, they can't really get hurt, but they spot what is coming. The Muslim has got to get back in.
15 seconds till that speed is done, 10 seconds till that speed is done, and Sasquatch looks like he's decided that he needs to go for it now. These are slow roaches, but the numbers are a stupidly high. 51 roaches on the screen right now. He is going to try to end this here and now. Those roaches are falling fast. He's down to 45, and there's a drop in the main base. Demuslim is killing off almost all the workers in Sasquatch's main, but this bust is still so huge.
Yeah, there are still so many roaches here. The second tank goes down. Like I mentioned, there's a couple of bunkers in the back, and it does look like Sasquatch is going to back off, but I kind of feel like he could have gone for it. Instead, he's just going to say, hey, I could take out the third here. There's a single bunker inside the mineral line. It will go down with ease, and he will force a lift and possibly take out quite a few SCVs, and there they go.
But in the main base, the main base has actually been taken out. Demuslim's single hero medevac dealing astounding damage. I think Sasquatch has noticed, but he's just said, you know what? I got to do something with these roaches.
And you know what? Oh, here we go. We have it, the pushback from the third as well, using those widow mines, getting the Marines out there. It looks like Sasquatch's roach count has gone down considerably, and had he not had those 2 tanks, that would have been a really scary situation. Now, this hero medevac drop, it's not done yet. It went down, took out a couple of drones at the natural. It's now sitting in between the nat and the third, and there is a Hydroden going down in the back. There's hardly anything over here to defend against it, just a single queen, and these Marines are going to continue to do a ton of damage.
Sasquatch getting a little bit of tunnel vision in these mid stages. I mean, Roach Hydra will beat almost any army in a straight up fight, but the Muslims never going to give him a straight up fight. He's just going to continue to drop, move around on all these nice dropping angles on the outside, and Demuslim is going to begin taking control. Second medevac moving in along the right as Sasquatch prepares for another bust.
2-2 on the Marines, on all the bio, but there are no tanks this time. There's nothing really to stop. The only defense are these 2 widow mines right here, and as you know, they can be effective in draining the life from the roaches, but they're not really going to be doing much in terms of killing them. The Muslim's bio count looking pretty good. He loads up another medevac, send it over to the side. A few roaches get caught out of position, and they all go down. Sasquatch did not need that, but he has a huge force going in to attack the third.
Counterattack by Sasquatch. Oh, eats 2 mine shots. Huge. At the top right side, we see the hatch was dropped. A little damage being dealt. More SCVs being picked off by Sasquatch. These roach harassed bits are being pretty decent at keeping that number down, but the drop at the natural expansion now for Demuslim, a drop at the third base for Demuslim. Demuslim doing great jobs with these medevac drops.
He really is. He's taken out a ton more drones. 34 drones killed, of course 37 over on the other side from that attack from Sasquatch, but both these drops highly effective. He moves the 4th drop into the 3rd. Roaches will stop that, but he has interrupted, especially that 4th. It's not doing much at all. Another drop inside the main as well from the medevac. That's the same hero medevac with the 3 Marines that have already done a ton of damage. Sasquatch has his main reestablished, but he is still, even at 200, I feel like he's still really only operating off of 2 bases right now.
Yeah, totally. I mean, he's been ahead by 50, 60 supply this whole time, but now a drop at the 3rd, a couple of units heading through mid, but there's also a drop in the main base, and Sasquatch is noticed too late again. Thus far, Demuslim had killed off 42 workers, 37 for Sasquatch. Mass Roach army up in mid.
And there's only 1 or 2 Hydralists out right here, so if he needs to pick up and go, he will. In fact, the Hydra is focusing down on the medevacs, coming in from the back. A huge amount of Widow Mines just waiting to fire, and where are they going to be? Boom! The rest of the army down to the red. GG! And Demuslim takes game number 1.
A convincing game number 1. The early defense established cleanly, able to hold off this unusual 1-1 speed roach timing, and then Sasquatch unable to deflect the continual drops of Demuslim. I mean, there's so many different ways that you can try to go for a win, and Demuslim do exactly what he needed to do, when and where. The drops, fantastic. That end move, just a finishing play. The damage had already been dealt.
And 2 tanks and some Widow Mines helping with the defense. It looks like Whirlwind is going to be the next match.
I'm up 1-0, Mom. I played great.
Everything is fantastic. So Whirlwind the next map. I believe we're going to take a quick commercial break. So ladies and gentlemen, the MLG Spring Championship Day 1 continues here at the StarCraft 2 stage. We've got Demuslim leading 1-0 versus Sasquatch from Complexity. Who will win?